What's up, everybody? I want to go over uh, my comments about uh, a recent post from Helmz Jordan. Now, if you don't know Helmz Jordan, uh, she's a YouTube vlogger, and she has a husband who is actually living here in the Philippines. And uh, she made a video recently. Uh, and if you have time, go check out the video. It's called Filipino American Know the Reason of Our Misunderstandings. And basically, it's about misunderstandings about money. And I just wanted to comment on the subject more so than her particular video and the issues that she was talking about in her video. Now, these are all just my opinion. We all have different. Those of us who are American and are married to Filipinas, we all have our own separate issues within the relationship when it comes to family and helping to support family. But I think the main thing is a couple of things that need to be established before you even have a conversation about helping family or here in the Philippines. The first thing, I had to write some of this stuff down because I'll get sidetracked, but the first thing is communication. The communication part of it is important. The communication between you and your Filipina, uh, as far as what's allowable with helping the family. Now, it's certain things that most Filipinos need to understand is when you're in a close relationship, when you're talking about your family, sometimes you're too close to really see the full picture. Something similar to this guy in this picture. Going by the picture, you can see what I'm talking about. So sometimes it's things that you can't see because you're too close to your family. I mean, it's right there, but you just can't see it because you're too close. Now, as a husband coming into a relationship with a Filipina, there's certain things that we have to figure out. We have to figure out the family. We have to figure out what type of family structure is going on in front of us. Because you do have people who take advantage of you. Most Filipinos think that all foreigners are rich. They have all this money, and that's all they really see. They don't really concern themselves with the responsibilities, not only with the immediate, as far as your Filipina and whatever kids are involved, but also you may have some things in your home country that you need to take care of. The family really don't look at that. All they see sometimes is just a foreigner. They have money, and then they put pressure on their daughter to extract funds to help them out, basically. So communication is the first thing, and with that being said, the foreigner, the man, I believe, needs to don't start anything in the beginning of a relationship that you're not going to continue. And what I mean by is if you're giving money to your wife in the beginning, and then all of a sudden, you can't do it, or you won't do it, I should say, then that sends a little confusing signals. Uh, you know, and in my experience, as far as I see, not only just with my wife's family, but other families here, that you really have some good people here in the Philippines. You really have good families here, but you do have some bad folk. You know, you may have an aunt or uncle or a cousin, uh, someone outside of the main family unit, as in the mother, the father, and the siblings, your wife's siblings. You may have an aunt or uncle or a cousin that's a bad actor, you know, that has taken advantage of your wife's immediate family, and now they're looking to extract from the foreign husband. I've seen a lot since I've been here, you know, and my whole thing is, you know, you really do, as a foreigner, you really have to pay attention to who is who, because one of the first things that I had to uh, enlighten my wife about is, just because your uncle or your aunt or whatever is your uncle or your aunt, their actions matter. You know, if they're taking advantage of you or taking advantage of your mother or your father, as far as money wise and things of that, then that whole aunt and uncle, that title only goes but so far. You can't trust them. If they do you wrong, then you can't trust them. You got to treat them a certain type of way. You got to be a little standoffish, because they're looking to uh, uh, bring more stress into your life. That's just the bottom line. And I told her it's the same thing with me. Just because I'm your husband, how I act makes a difference. You know, I if I'm your husband, that's my title, and I'm still acting, I'm treating you bad, not sensitive to your feelings and things of that nature, then that whole husband title only goes but so far. You know, you just can't have the title and not, you know, do what you're supposed to do as far as action is concerned. You have to act like your family. You have to be family. Uh, so anyway, communication is key to trying to figure out what type of help that you can give to your wife's family. Like it was said, and if you check out Helmz's video, she talked about sometimes you have foreigners receive. Some foreigners give their wife an allowance, spending money, um, and that depends on what you should do. You really gotta, because what happens is sometimes Filipinas burn through the money, and you gotta understand, like you said, if you give your Filipino wife 2, 3,000, 4,000 pesos in the beginning of the month, maybe a week or two later, it's gone. And most of the time, it's because family had asked them for some money. They said they needed money, and they just give it to them. They just give it to them. You know, and like I said, when you have family, sometimes when you have family members uh, that ask like that, then they know you got it. They know you want. They're going to ask you over and over again. They're going to expect to get it. Um, because some Filipinos, they don't have trouble looking beyond their daily needs. As far as, what I mean by that is sometimes they don't look and say, hey, I need to keep this to last for the next week. You know, their concern is that day. They on a day-to-day program. When you're dealing with a foreign man, no matter what country he's from, usually he's looking to, he looks beyond that. Until the next time he gets that income, whether it be a pension or whatever like that. There, you know. So you just gotta, you can't really give. Sometimes you really just can't give your wife a whole bunch of money because she'll go through it. She'll go through it, and and then 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 she might want more, and then it's like you're not really understanding that this needs to stretch. But that's some of the reasons why some foreign men don't give the allowance, uh, because, like you said, you have family members sometimes that will come in and you know you know ask for the money, and then the money is going really really fast. Sometimes you do have family members that will come in and ask their daughter for some money, for help, and what they really asking is if the Filipino wife is not working, she's really asking the foreign husband for that money, you know. Um, so like I said, it really does put the Filipina in a really difficult situation because they really want to help their parents out, uh, and but they have to ask it their foreign husband, and then that sometimes that can cause a rift. That can cause real problems within the marriage because it's almost like you're pitting one against the other. As a parent or other family member, they don't really see the real live effects that they're really having on their daughter's uh, um, marital relationship. They can only see their need, not everything surrounding their need or want. Sometimes it's just a want and not a need, but most of the time it's a need. Uh, with me, in the beginning of my relationship with my wife, uh, there's some boundaries that I had to set, uh, and it was not because the family was bad people. It's just certain things that they uh, did, and I had to basically set boundaries. And I'll give you an example. Uh, I think it was I think it was like a birthday, if I'm not mistaken. It was a birthday. I forget whose birthday it was, or it might even have been I don't know, it was some kind of celebration. And this was in the beginning of our relationship. I'm not clear about what the celebration was, but what the issue was, there was a karaoke machine there during the celebration. And we're going through the celebration, and at the end of it, it's like my wife's asking me for money to pay for the karaoke machine. And I'm like, well, I wasn't in the conversation to get the karaoke machine. It's not the problem of getting the karaoke machine or paying for the karaoke machine. The problem was getting the karaoke machine without first having a conversation with me about it if I was the one to pay for it. And those type of things right there, I had to shut off as soon as they happen, because if you don't do that, it becomes the norm. So again, communication is the key. It's not in there's ways that you can have those type of misunderstandings cleared up without any attitudes or bad feelings. It's just factual. It's just a reality. You just can't go around just spending people's money, is and not even having a conversation with them on the front end of it. That's just not acceptable. you know, Not with me anyway. So, certain things like that, you can't be so, uh, you know, so much in a trance with your relationship with your Filipina that you don't, stop those kind of things, especially if they bother you, or you're not going to accept them. Don't accept them in the beginning, you know, uh, and it'll make the whole, transition of, the foreign man understanding the foreign family, the Filipino family, and you all can get along with a good relationship, you know. And the issues about money are real. The issues that most Filipinos have uh, with money are real, and I've seen some Filipino families take advantage of each other. Like I said, you'll have a main family, like I said, the mother, the father, and the siblings, but it's always some family member outside of that comes in and takes advantage of that family, because Filipinos, in my opinion, are just all around good people, but you do have some bad actors, and you just can't allow them to come in and uh, kind of stop your progress from going forward. So, in my opinion, it's a case by case basis as far as getting to understand what's acceptable when it comes to helping the Filipino parents. You know, uh, because like I said, sometimes the parents don't see the big picture and all the responsibilities that the foreigner has. All they're looking at is, they see foreigner and they think we just have limitless amounts of money, and that's just not the reality.